on the 11th of November 1945 in Indonesia, near Jakarta.
So after all of it was all over then? It
Yes.
was all over then?
Well, no, they were keeping the Japs at bay
The
then.
Japs at bay.
Yes, and he was shot down by the. Well, actually, they think it was probably the Indonesians actually shot him down. He was in a mosquito,
Oh, really?
and he and the pilot were killed instantly.
All right.
Yeah, and we went, Caroline and I, about, when time goes, about 6 years ago, I suppose. We went out to see his grave, and encouraged to do so by somebody who knew him well, knew father well in the army. He pulled all the strings, and when we arrived in Jakarta, they made absolutely certain that we were staying in an Indonesian hotel and not any other, because there'd been bombing going on and all that sort of thing. And they introduced us, which I thought was a bit unnecessary, to the British ambassador.
Oh,
And so we went to see the British ambassador for tea, and his defence attaché had done some research and he produced a little report of how father was killed and,
Wow.
and the battle. Because
You had no idea?
no idea, and it was one of those ghastly situations. We were living at Heytesbury in those days, you know, anymore, and we were having Sunday lunch, and the announcement that he'd been killed came across on the radio before Mum had been told.
Oh.
Yeah.
You lived at Heytesbury?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. 3 chimneys at Heytesbury.
3 chimneys at Heytesbury.
Yeah. And so anyway, the point of the story was, I then went back to Pertwood, and there was a Nuffield scholar from New Zealand called Cruther Mackenzie who was staying there on a Nuffield scholarship. Came from up your way. You know. Scargill, is it? Scargill? In north, sort of north of Culverton.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Up there.
Yeah.
And you know, and they said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I don't know, because all my friends are going off doing national service. I want to do something damn quick. I don't want to hang about here, you know. And so this New Zealander said, well, look, if you get yourself to New Zealand, I will give you a job.
Fair enough.
So I said, well, that's terrific. So anyway, I went to New Zealand and shared a cabin with 5 Teddy Boys. Do you remember Teddy Boys?
Yes, yes. In 1956.
56.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And had a wonderful time in New Zealand. And I learnt to shear sheep, so I paid my way around
Yes, very good.
and so forth. And of course, I met Joe Studham,
Yes,
you know who you met, I think. Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
Joe Studham, on going up from he'd been to Soundhurst, he was on his way back, and of course he immediately gave me messages of introductions, and I sort of moved around fairly quickly, spending sort of 3 months at the place. And then after 18, just under 2 years, I then moved on to Australia and went up to first of all Victoria, then Tasmania, and then Queensland, and worked as a cattle drover right up in the north there, driving 2,000 head of cattle down to the railhead. Because they do it all by lorries now. And then I went to South Australia. They were just beginning to start growing wine there. And then on to Western Australia. I got completely smitten with Western Australia because you could buy land for 50p an acre.
Yes,
And anyway,
lots of it.
yeah, and I came back and told my mum that I was going back to Australia for good, to Western Australia.
Oh.
She was absolutely horrified. And rang up Daddy, who was living in the big house, you know. And Daddy rang me, and Grandfather rang me and said, you know, delighted to hear you back. Do come and down, came to playing the Australians at cricket next week. Come and stay. So I did. And then he said, what's all this about I hear about you going to Australia? And I said, well, yes, it's very exciting down there. It's a real young man's country. It's just the place to go when you've got no ties at all and all the rest of it. Anyway, to cut a long story short, he then said, well, grandson, don't be in too much a hurry to make your decision. Just be careful and come and see me in a month's time before you make up your mind. And I went back in a fortnight. And that's how I came here.
Ah.
So it's very much, and his name is Allen, Stanley Allen. So, and his grandfather bought the place, and I'll show you the auction particulars, an auction in 1898.
Wow.
And he was quite a successful builder in London, and he wanted to buy a estate for his son, as people do.
Mm-hmm.
And so he built Harrods, amongst other things. And so that's how it all came into the family.
Fantastic.